HeroPhase, something like that. It's an Irish GT run by the HeroPhase.
Hello, welcome to the Oswald Game. I'm your host, Rob. We're live in Ireland here in sunny Dublin.
That's pissing rain outside.
We're not doing swearing.
Oh, yeah. Literally asked that 7 seconds ago.
Yeah. I'm Rob, and this is Mick. Hi, Mick.
Hello.
How you doing?
Oh, good. I'm so happy it's gone off relatively without a hitch.
It has. We
know?
did have a hitch this morning, a technical hitch, which was my fault. I apologise, everyone. So we did miss game one, but it was 2 death armies battling out, so it was boring anyway.
2 ghost death
armies. 2 armies of ghosts.
8 grave sites, 60 Grimghast Reapers.
Trust us, we saved you a job, really. So we're here for a 5-game event. Obviously, one's just gone to crown the GT champion, the HeroPhase GT champion of all of Ireland. Are you excited, mate?
I'm pretty excited. I wish I was playing in it though, but you know what? I'll settle for being here.
Yeah,
this is pretty exciting.
So Mick's going to be helping me with the commentary all weekend. We've got Nathan who's doing the table bossing. Oh, he is so ready.
He is ready.
He is so ready. We only normally it's not a table boss; it's just table. But we added bossing just for Nathan. So
I think he gives off that vibe.
You guys, I'm excited to see you guys. So it's going to be exciting. What's Warhammer like over here in Ireland?
It's a little bit. I think it's a little bit different to the UK scene, the mainland UK scene. For example, we only have 2 Slaanesh players here today.
Wow.
So that just shows what sort of caliber of players we are.
Yeah, quality, kind, sweet. Loads of Skaven though.
A bit dumb. I think 4 of the Skaven lists all are coming from up north.
Oh, okay.
And even who else? I can't even think of who from our side is playing Skaven. But we have a few Flesh Eater Courts players down here.
Okay.
So the meta isn't completely. We're not completely blind to the meta.
No, and you couldn't have 2 armies that we're about to see more on the meta.
Yes.
Realistically. So you've got 2 fantastic opponents about to battle it out. This is a literal. Who beat Goliath? David.
Yeah.
David versus Goliath situation, but hilariously, brawns and brains switch in this story.
Yeah, definitely. we need some sort of theme tune for this.
Yeah. So let's go over to the tabletop and let's see what we got going on. So you got the wonderful Paul Rea, and he is up against. He's up against a man who probably needs no introduction at this stage, Chris Caves, the terror of English competitive Warhammer. Is that right?
Yes, and sportsmanship scores.
Not sportsmanship scores. He's not getting any of them.
No.
But there are none here. Is that correct?
There's none here.
There's none here.
We equally hate everybody.
That's good. So Paul is a wonderful man and organises events up in Northern Ireland.
Yep.
And he is running a very on-meta Skaven 9 Storm Fiend list. We can already see them deploying on the board right now, right? Yes?
Yes, we can. Yeah. Sorry, the lack of sleep is catching up with me.
Okay, yeah. So we've seen those. They are there on the board, and they are at that bottom right-hand, centre bit of the board. 9 Storm Fiends, no messing about with his army list. Against a change host.
Yeah, change host.
One of your favourite armies, is that right?
Yes. Well, they're okay.
They're okay. Come on, you love them. So, do you want to run us through what's in his list?
Yeah. So, Chris has gone for, instead of just the 1-drop, he's gone for a 2-drop with a Gaunt Summoner. It's very good for it. The Gaunt Summoner is obviously very good for clearing the hordes. So he's got his Lord of Change with magical supremacy. Personal combination. I love that combination. Very good at denying magic as well as being able to cast it. So he's got his blue scribes, 310 pinks, 40 brimstones. Who's kind of saving on that 3rd character in the change host to bring in the Gaunt Summoner. Mm-hmm. And then he has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 endless spells. So because he's not investing in a 3rd change host character, he is still able to get a meaty amount of endless spells into it. So he's got the usual Balewind, Umbral Spell Portal, a new famous Purple Sun, Aether Void Pendulum, Gnashing Jaws, Burning Head, Suffocating Gravetide, Shackles, and Palisade. So all fairly standard in the change host at the moment. We can see he's probably doing some shenanigans now.
Yeah, so Chris, who we just saw there on the camera, a prodigious but young wargamer. His dad here at the event, who is currently battling off against. There's another young man here at the event. We have a dad off in the going off around the rest of the environment.
Baldy off.
Yeah, we've got two bold men battling it out, and Chris Caves. Oh, we've seen a handshake for the first turn.
Uh-huh. A Change Host player getting a handshake. That's new.
That's new.
Yeah.
That's real new. And he's getting a handshake off that man there. Oh, he's off screen. Mr. Paul Rhea, who is not. He's not a little fella, is he?
Paul.
He's not a little fella. No. So the first turn has been given away by Chris over to Paul, and that's a pretty common choice. Do you think?
I think it varies from player to player. I'm quite aggressive. I think about 75% of the time I take the first turn.
Okay.
But it really depends on the matchup. I actually haven't played against Storm Fiends yet, so I'm not really sure. But Chris knows what he's doing. I'll trust his choice here.
You trust it?
I'll trust his choice here. Yeah.
All right. I'm interested in exactly getting myself comfy for this. What is going to be a torturously long match.
Yes.
So we've looked at the list for the Change Host Skaven list. We did have. And then I've waylaid it. Twitch chat. I can't actually see if you're writing anything at the minute. So there we go. Let me readeth to you.
Such a big man with such a small list.
Yes. It says Skaven Tie's got an Arch Warlock with a Verminous Valor and the Vigor Dust Injector. That's going to be enemy number one on the tabletop that he's going to be looking to kill. And he's obviously got more Warp Power, a Warlock Bombardier with more Warp Power, a Grey Seer on Screaming Bell, 3 lots of 20 Clan Rats, 40 Plague Monks, 9 Storm Fiends, and the Soul Scream Bridge. Really happy to see that he's got the Soul Scream Bridge in there.
Yeah, it's necessary. Without it, the Storm Fiends can be just left behind, and they can end up doing very little for the game. But an uninteresting statistic is that the Clan Rats are the most common unit at this tournament.
Oh, really?
by a mile.
Oh,
by a country mile.
Wow, that makes sense. There's
about 4,000 of them here.
Okay. There's also something to be said for the terrain, because we had the roll off for the first turn, and you were telling me something about the terrain setup.
Yeah. So originally. So Paul won the roll-off for table sides, and he actually picked the side he's on, but he gave away the commanding terrain, which I don't know. I think that's a bit dangerous against Tzeentch, because that's better than Arcane for Tzeentch, because the Lord of Change gets a free +1 to cast and a spell 18-inch bubble around him. So giving away that, I'm not sure if that was if that was a smart play, but when I asked him, it was based on the fact that mystical was right in the center of the deployment zone, and he wanted to offset the Lord of Change from being in the middle of his army, and he didn't want the mystical to be in the middle of his army.
Oh,
either.
Wow, that's really clever. So he decided that the Lord of Change was definitely going to take the bait and not go in this centerpiece here, and was going to go over there.
Correct.
Wow, that's a really smart play.
Yeah. So
that's fantastic.
So I was So that's an interesting to see how it pans out. He probably weighed up the risks there and said, well, you know what, this is probably a better play. So we'll see how it plays out anyway.
Yeah, absolutely.
I know I would have taken the bait. I would have jumped my Lord of Change right there as well.
I think some of the things that are going to be important here, that piece of mystical terrain at the bottom, potentially having the Storm Fiends near them would have made sense. But he has got them near Inspiring, which I can understand, because they can run away pretty sharpish, and he has started with no CP at the minute. So
correct. Yeah. And I suppose what he can do is there's another piece of commanding terrain over in the far flank. I suppose putting his general over there might be exposing him a bit, but he can turn off the commanding terrain and reduce that risk of the +1 to cast and the spell.
So we're in the hero phase. We're in the hero phase for Skaven. Oh, the only spell that went off was Mystic Shield on the Storm Fiends.
And I imagine Chris let that go for the free fate point.
Yeah.
So
Chris let that happen for the free fate point.
Exactly.
So Gnaw that we can see, we've got one here, we've got one here, and we've got one here. So the opportunity to teleport. Do you think he's going to try and send the Storm Fiends through and then start deleting units?
I think
or do you
so,
think that's
yeah.
going to be an issue?
Well, I imagine Chris has probably expected that. So at least if he starts deleting units from there, Chris has a turn to kind of reposition and summon stuff up. Will he be in range for... I wonder, will he be in range to hit the Lord of Change? Do you reckon Paul will try go for it?
I don't think he'll be in range for...
Probably not.
He shouldn't be. I think Chris will have measured that, absolutely.
Yeah.
So that can't be... Well, I mean, I would hope so. Otherwise, because this Lord of Change is one of those key elements that he's going to need to delete
absolutely,
to win the game. And similarly, and we saw this matchup at the LGT between Jack Armstrong and Darren Watson. So we're hoping this round, both players know what all of their rules are.
Yeah.
Yeah. As the TO, how would you feel if you were to see the wrong rules being played right now?
If the wrong rules being played?
Yeah, the wrong rules.
Well, on stream, I would have no qualms about shouting over to them and telling them, hey, idiots, read your rules.
Get this sorted.
Luckily, the only things that are near me are laptops and iPads, so I'm not going to be throwing anything at them. But yeah, no, honestly, this, I don't see any problem with calling them out if you see a blatant rule. If it's an honest mistake, it's an honest mistake, But even if it's not an honest mistake, it needs to be called out. It needs to be made sure that you're not doing the wrong thing, and then it'll people see it. It's on video, and if it's unintentional,
they also learn how to play wrongly.
Exactly, yeah.
And no one needs that, do they?
So.
Okay, so we're obviously into the movement. We're into the movement phase now, and we found out that the Vigor Dust injector has been put on. So that's a global buff. Our table boss Nathan might be able to show us our new fancy overlay, and put potentially you might be able to see that these have got the Vigor Dust injector put on them, which is going to give them +1 to charge. So he's going to send in the Plague Monks very early, and they don't have Death Frenzy on them, which is sad. So I don't know what's going to happen.
Well, the Death Frenzy is not too important because, in fairness, Chris isn't going to be killing any of the Plague Monks, because he doesn't have a lot of attacks. They're rubbish attacks. So he's not going to be killing anything. So Death Frenzy is not really relevant. But the Plague Monks have enough damage to probably chew through everything on that flank.
They do. And as you and me have talked about before, the large issue that we have when you play Tzeentch, me and Mick both big fans of the Tzeentch army.
Yeah.
Everything in a Tzeentch, even the smallest units become threats, because Pink Horrors, they stand up against nothing. Even skinks with blowpipes, you're like, they're gonna kill some. They're gonna kill some of my guys.
They get wrecked. And the weirdest thing is, I think people don't realize that until they start doing it, because the actual models are quite buff, so you're expecting them to be quite defensive. But no, they're not.
No, they're not.
They're like wet paper bags.
Yeah, they really, really struggle. So into the first turn for Skaven. Let us know, please, everyone in the chat, who you want to win. I can now see you in the chat, so I can see you there, Donaldinho, saying it's hard listening to Mick speak. This is Mr. Mick Wendell of the HeroPhase of the HeroPhase GT. Please be respectful in the chat. Mick's pleasure to have you here.
Thank you, Rob. Pleasure to be here. I'm glad I don't have to listen to Donald. I just read his stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it's nice that he's not here.
Yeah.
Realistically. Are you guys in the chat? Who are you rooting for? Are you rooting for anyone in particular, Mick? The powerful Chris Caves Jr.?
There's a few... rooting for and betting on, I suppose, are two different things. I think I'd like to see... I think I would like to see Chris definitely podium in this, because he's done... I've been playing with the Northerly guys for the past three and a half years now. And at the first tournament we went to, I actually played against him while he was using changes. This guy has been unnaturally dedicated to Tzeentch since the book came out. I think the first time I played against him, he was 14 years old, and I was like, holy crap, I wish I was this good when I was 14.
Yeah.
I was still, painting with my fingers and, not even using dice to play games.
Yeah, I started painting my Hallowheart army with a potato stamp yesterday, and I loved it.
So, I think I would like to see Chris take the turn, if not just at least podium. He's definitely good enough. The list is strong, and God knows he deserves it.
Yeah, he does. He does. I think that'll be fun. I'm a big fan of Mr. Paul Rhea.
Yeah.
Big fan. Kind-hearted man. Is not scared. Is not scared of a beer.
No.
I would never accuse him of being scared of a beer.
I don't know. I think he's scared of what comes after the beer. His lovely martini.
Yeah. But just fantastic. Can I just say also, it's my first time actually ever in Ireland. And everyone here has been lovely. So I'll say a big thank you to Mick and all the event organisers.
I would expect no less.
Well, the terrain's fantastic. The boards are great. And we're in this incredibly plush hotel.
Yeah.
This is the fanciest land I've been in since I was last in Nashville, I think.
Yeah, it actually is. I was pleasantly surprised by the venue. Quite affordable, close to the airport, which was good for any international interest, which we got a few Germans and a few Scots over.
Yes, a group of Germans have flown over, right?
Yeah.
How awesome's that?
Oh, it's amazing. And even how they found out about it was just through one of the WhatsApp groups, and they just started chatting to me. One of them started chatting to me, and they're like, "Oh, this is amazing. You're running a tournament. Cool, I'll come over." And I was like, "Amazing. I love when people just commit like that."
Yeah.
So that was cool.
Yeah, and they seem really nice.
Lovely
and one of
lads.
them is playing Tzeentch, so
Yeah.
we're a fan. No one else is.
His name is Michael as well.
Yeah, good.
It must be in the name.
It definitely is.
Michael does mean, it is, I think in the Hebrew meaning is he who is most like the Lord.
He who's most like the Lord.
Of change.
Oh.
So it's a very good turnout. I'd like to take this time to thank Paul Ray and Peter Pratt, because they supplied this tournament with all of the mats and all of the scenery. And Morgan as well, he's one of our local independent stockists of the War Room, and he brought us up some mats as well. We were in trouble in the last minute, but he came to the rescue.
What a legend.
So
yeah,
he is a legend.
The myth of there being rows between the Irish and Northern Irish completely dissuaded in the Age of Sigmar community, at least.
It absolutely is. On a serious note, we have had a great, just from the get-go, a great relationship with the guys up the north. They're top blokes, a lot of them.
Yeah.
And they had a scene way before us. So they were actually quite paramount to our scene growing as well, coming down, supporting our events. Again, Pete being a big part of that, growing his scene up the north, and then bringing the guys down and encouraging them to come down. So yeah, no, it's been a great relationship with the guys up the north. Yeah. It always has been, in fairness, even back in the old fantasy days, I
think that's the best thing about Age of Sigmar generally, is the community that we all develop together. It's our kind of our international community. It's just set for talking about that, like Lee Bromley in the chat there, Crazy Horse listening all the way out from. Are you still in Nashville or a little bit out? He's also saying you can't call the terrain fantastic, only fine, and that's because he prints incredible 3D terrain.
Oh, really?
Which we saw at Nashville. No criticism of the terrain here. His terrain was.
I'd love to see his then.
Gorgeous.
I'll have to research it.
Yeah, I'll hook you two up. Right, let's get back to the game though. We've seen that unit of 9 Stormfiends progress. Look at them. But they ran. They ran. Oh no, they didn't run. They Soul Scream Bridge.
Is that a Soul Scream Bridge thing there?
Oh, they ran, I think.
He did.
We're going to find out from our table boss.
Yeah, our table boss is going to tell us what that.
It doesn't matter how loud we shout. He hasn't got his headphones on, so it's never going to work. North Carolina is where Crazy Horse is from. Okay. Watching currently.
I've been North Carolina twice.
Yeah, so this is a blank. Oh, have you?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Stop over in Charlotte Airport.
Oh.
Heading over and the return.
So this unit of Stormfiends ran, I'm almost certain. So we've seen the unit of Plague Monks, as you can see at the top right. They've charged and use a command point to re-roll it.
No, it's Triumph.
Oh, Triumph, to re-roll it.
Who uses Triumphs?
Who uses Triumphs? No one. To re-roll it and get into combat right there at the top, which he's very excited about.
I think Chris had to expect that. I think he had to expect that his front line was going to get punched in the face by something, because you have that gnaw hole in his face, and he did deploy his Rod of Change. Probably within about 24 of it. maybe 20. So
we're just going to make sure we find out that those Storm Fiends did run into the center with a 6. It's great. So those guys did run there. So that's an interesting choice by Paul, because there's the interesting thing about Tzeentch early on is they don't really have the output that you would expect. There can be a lot of mortal wounds from endless spells. Probably white on white's actually not a particularly solid color there, realistically.
He will probably kill. He might, if he focuses on the Storm Fiends, the chances are he'll probably kill the 3 combat guys. Whatever, the Grinder Fist guys, that what they're called.
Yep.
And that's on, if he focuses everything. But then the Plague Monks are in his face. What I think Paul's doing is quite smart, actually. He's like, I don't need a lot of output in this game. I just need to position them well and get them into that Lure to Change ASAP. So it looks like he's got the Soul Screen Bridge marker down, so he knows next turn he can cast it and teleport into a better position.
Do you not also think that's a bit of bait for Chris?
Possibly.
A little bit of... I mean, Chris has got so many unbinds that I think it's very likely anyway. But I think if I were Chris, the first thing I'd do is put an endless spell in that hole, so that the Soul Screen Bridge can't be placed no matter what happens.
That'd be a real kick in the nards.
So no spells went off other than Mystic Shield, so that's what's currently happened. Both Chris and Paul, I'm right in thinking, vying for a Best Army nomination for painting, or is that wrong?
Paul's got
or Chris.
Well, I don't know. I think his conversion for a headless Lure to Change is quite cool. But
if we look over here at the Destiny dice, as you can see in the top right, you've got 3 6s
and 2 1s.
And 2 1s, which is really important. I actually prefer the 1s to the 6s.
1s are far more important than 6s, because you don't need 6s. 6s are just like, I've guaranteed a 12 to cast from blind. But you don't need it. But you need the 1s, because nothing can replicate a 1 in the Destiny dice pool. But a 4, 5, or a 6 do similar things in your Destiny dice pool. So 1s are way more important than 6s.
So we're into the combat phase, and Chris just removed the Brimstone Horrors without even so much as a... I mean, I personally would try and have the Plague Monks roll as few dice as possible, because it's boring to watch.
Yeah.
And then we get straight into the death of some pink horrors. I love the idea of rabid, disease-ridden rats with knives stabbing fire. Yeah. It's like that guy who I saw in that video recently with a samurai sword on a treadmill, just training. Yeah.
I had this image of them putting their knives together and using them as fans to blow out the brimstones.
Yeah. Hey AJ in the chat, nice to see you, Hawkeye. How you doing? Yeah, we should talk about the battle plan actually. So we're playing Starstrike. That's the scenario that we're currently playing. So there's currently no objectives on the board. We're waiting to find out where they're going to be. At the beginning of the next battle round, and Chris got the choice to go first and is given the turn to Paul. So Chris has still got his turn. During the next battle round, we're going to see the first of 3 objectives land, and then we're going to start to see some counterplay. This really does seem to favour Tzeentch as well as a battle plan, because Tzeentch have more models as the game goes on.
Yes, correct. The army grows throughout the game. It doesn't mind it's not going to mind losing 10 pinks the next turn, because that's going to give them more board control later on in the game. Paul has to be very careful not to pull monks off objective or off parts of the board, not just objectives, but certain parts of the board, because he'll leave openings for Chris to just drop blues and brimstones down. And with the speed of the change host, he's got blue scribes, which have a potential 22-inch move, chain summon by summoning a herald and then summon blues. So he has to be very careful about all these, especially in Starstrike.
Yeah. I think it's really interesting. Chris straight into his hero phase. So Tzeentch's first turn, we're straight into the hero phase. I think what we're having here now is Chris. It looks like he's just explaining how his army is working to Paul, which I'm really enjoying. That there he is. Just this is how it works. This is what's going on.
And Paul looks like he's trying to do maths that he shouldn't be able to do.
Yeah. Paul, here is Paul doing some quick maths.
Yeah. Carry the one. Anyone see the steam coming out of his head there?
Let me just double check. Can I fly? No. The answer is no. I cannot fly.
Yeah. There we go. Look. Oh no, he's gone. He's just done. It's like no.
So we're going to start seeing a bunch of Underspells going down. The list of Underspells available: Bellwind Vortex, Umbral Spell Portal, Purple Sun, Aether Void Pendulum, Ravanax, Gnashing Jaws, Burning Head, Suffocating Gravetide, Soulstone Shackles, and Prismatic Palisade. Chris, really getting the most out of that Malign Sorcery box set.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm just looking here. He looks like he's I can't tell if he's got his pink horrors within 3 inches of the Storm Fiends. Can you use the Soul Scream Bridge if you're within 3 inches of an enemy?
Yeah, you can literally you can get out of combat.
Yeah, so
the first thing
he must be staying out of 3 then.
So what you're seeing here, because obviously we're talking as actions happening. So what you're actually seeing here is the first thing that you have to do in a hero phase if you're playing with Change Host, which is what he's playing as, and that's move these units. Do you want to tell us how that works, mate?
Yeah, so as long as he has 9 or more units in the battalion, he gets to do it twice. And what it is pick 2 units that are just within 27 inches of the Lord of Change, which is a massive range. And they can swap places. One model swap places in each unit, then you lift the rest of the units, and then you deploy them within 9 of the swapped model. Not wholly within 9, so you do get a bit of extra movement out of it. So I think your unit can be up to about 11 inches further onto the board. So it's how Chris is getting that extra movement there, and he can do it. He can do it once now because he lost those unit of brimstones, so he can only do it once. But I think that's enough just to get a unit of pinks up, and I think he's going to try and put some endless spells deep into Paul's army.
Perfect. So we've just seen the command ability put on the board there by the Lord of Change, and he has spent 3 command points on that command ability, which gives him +3 to cast. Every wizard within 18 inches gets +1 to cast. Those pink horrors get naturally +1 to cast if there is a horror hero, or it's a horror hero, right?
Horror hero.
Hero.
No, sorry, it's just a Tzeentch the Demon Hero.
Tzeentch Demon Hero. And they, so they're on +4 to cast.
Yeah.
It's just outrageous. And it really is a first turn assault that we're seeing. And it really is, as stated there, magical supremacy. That's right.
Oh, yeah.
I think that's the command ability. That's what the command ability is called?
That's the command ability, yeah. That's magical supremacy is the Lord of Change's command trait. And the command ability... I actually don't know the name of the command ability.
The command ability is, but we're going to get it on our... perfect, so much. Thank you. We'll get that sorted. Reflex Dog Training in the chat, really excited about Skaven. I obviously love Skaven. I don't know if you know this, Mick. For another 22 days, I love Skaven. Never give the Twitch chat the ability to let them decide what you think is good for a month.
Yeah,
it's not good. But Tomb King Tristan, how you doing? What are the weird grey eggs?
That he's obviously talking about the terrain. They're forests.
They are forests. They're not bad. The swampy forests. Right?
The tree. They must have taken the trees off for
mobility. There's a better picture.
Oh, there we go. You can. Oh yeah.
There you
actually can't see the trees from the top down. That's hilarious.
Yeah, you can't. I mean, that looks pretty good. I think. Just doesn't make much sense on the. Okay, so forests you can move. That's right. I'll make those forests over Games Workshop ones any day. Couldn't agree with you more. Couldn't agree with you more. Aaron Wilson, AOS. It's like someone's optical illusion.
Some insane optical illusion.
Yeah. Why can't you see the? You actually can't.
You actually
see
can't.
them.
They're invisible.
That's actually amazing. Well done.
And they're all there. I'm looking at them now. Like they're all there.
Yeah. Right, so let's talk about the game. With those pluses to cast, we're gonna see nothing but just like a huge variety of we're going to see a huge variety of spells put in. What's your first protocol when you cast spells?
Well, just going back to his thing, he's now going to get all the spells off. That's kind of a given. He'd be very, 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 very unlucky to not get all of his spells off. So in that instance, I think spending all 3 command points against an army who isn't massively magically defensive is a bit of a waste of. Maybe,
oh really?
Maybe 2 of them and save the one for next turn. Like those run rolls, sometimes you might need it, but yeah. But anyway, so he obviously has a plan. First protocol will be, I think in this case I'd be trying to kill the plague monks first of all. You can kind of play keep away with the storm fiends because he knows he's not going to get doubled, which is a good place to be in. But if he doesn't kill those plague monks, they're going to come through and kill the Lord of Change. So I would be going for the plague monks first, at least hemming them in with as many end of spells, and then you can kind of predict where the storm fiends are going to go. They're coming after the Lord. They're coming after the Lord of Change. There's no doubt about that. He's going to try and get a Soul Screen bridge down. Destiny dice and +3 to dispel will stop that. So yeah, I'd be going straight for the plague monks.
Straight for the plague monks.
Straight for the plague monks.
Okay. All right.
So.
Okay. I think that's why Paul's put them there, right? They're his expendable throwaway threat.
Yeah, because we saw, was it last week or the week before? We saw Darren play. We saw. What did we see? Yeah, we saw Darren play around the Storm Fiends and just not touch them. He just ignored them because he knows there's 57 wounds there. It'll take 3 turns of full magic abuse at them to take them out. Whereas if you just take out everything else, then what's he going to score objectives with? You know? So I think that would be the smart play, would be to go kill all his rats and win by board control. Because once those Storm Fiends are left on their own, they're not doing anything.
That's true. But they are in the middle of that board and they are threatening that Lord of Change. But I'm almost certain we're going to see that Lord of Change move away at the end of this hero phase.
All he has to do is move into the corner and then he can change us out next turn.
Yeah.
Get out of range and that's it. But
so is that bait as well? Does it go that way and then is it like change host over here later?
Yeah, that'd be my approach. As far as I know, the Plague Monks don't have any Battle Shock immunity here.
No,
so
they don't.
If he just kills a load of Plague Monks and then Battle Shocks them off, now he's putting this Palisade down. I don't think this is a smart move.
I think this is definitely to block them off from moving.
Because he probably, now seeing him do that, he probably wants to move the Lord of Change over the other side of the board.
This way?
Possibly, yeah. It's only got a 10-inch move, so it's not moving fast. So that's why I would have said go to the corner and then change host out later.
Yeah, interesting. Very interesting. I'm not quite sure what I would do here. That's the thing about the change host. It's got so many options. It can do so many things.
Exactly.
And it puts so many. As we've seen the Balewind Vortex cast, and we've seen a character go on top there. So that's the not the Changeling. We've seen the Gaunt Summoner as going on top of that Balewind Vortex. We've seen Ravenex Gnashing Claws coming out. And going on the tabletop.
What I probably would have done if I was him actually with the Palisade, that Gaunt Summoner isn't going anywhere. I would have tried to put the Palisade maybe here, or even just like here, to minimize the line of sight that the Storm Fiends can get on the Gaunt Summoner. Because that Lord of Change is there, or that Gaunt Summoner is staying there, and the Lord of Change is now, if they don't get the Lord of Change, they have the Gaunt Summoner to freely shoot at. They can move around the Palisade, but if you bring that Palisade in, it reduces how much they can see of them. So I think I would have done that. But it looks like he's trying to put the Lord of Change over the other side of the board with the Ravenex Jaws there as well.
Yeah, I think it's going to be an interesting priority role. Now I know we both know actually that Chris is Chris, by the way, almost took out the the Warhammer World
G-
GT
yeah.
finals
Yeah.
recently and went 5-1. So very impressive. Five wins,
5-1-0,
one draw.
Yeah.
So
He won our hearts.
he did win our hearts. So he's showing exactly how to play an army, and he took some big scalps over the weekend. Mr. Benjamin Sava took his scalp out. So there's some big plays. Byron Ord, yes, another big scalp. So loads of players have fallen at the weight of this young man. Can't wait to see him fulfill his destiny here. But Paul's not going to make it easy for him.
No.
And he's very excited about those Storm Fiends.
He is, yeah. So I'm interested to see. The thing is, Palisades is also the other thing about Palisades. It's not cast on a high value. I think it's a cast on a 5, and that is very close to Paul's Wizard. So Paul will have a chance to dispel that as well. And I don't know if it's enough to protect his Lord of Change. And I hope, for Chris's sake, he moves the Lord of Change, because I have a feeling he's in danger. But he looks like he's killing Plague Monks now, so he is. He's making the right call.
So the Gaunt Summoner has cast his signature spell into the Plague Monks and has done 22 mortal wounds. And as you said, no protection against Battle Shock.
Nothing. So that's D6 plus 16 more dead or something like that.
So I think that's the whole block is going to be gone there.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. South W Legion Command, I can see in the chat. Obviously, the Storm Fiends are only going to be able to shoot what they're in contact with in the next turn. So if they're in combat here, that's all they're going to be able to shoot.
Yeah, that's right. I wasn't sure if they're within 3 inches or not. I saw him moving them. I saw Chris moving them in the hero phase, and he had his 3-inch gauge yet. I wasn't sure if he was engaging them. And
so
then
can you change host into combat?
Yep.
Oh no.
So that must be why the Palisades is there. And the Palisades is there to stop them from piling in. Perfect.
Wow.
What a little hero.
So that's wow. So this line here, there's a 3-inch gap here, and that's stopping that unit from piling in at all.
Very clever play from Chris, and I think he's confident that he'll be able to dispel Soul Screen Bridge, even if it's cast on a 12, because he's got 6s in his dispel dice pool.
Yes.
Or his destiny dice pool. So
he can stop the bridge to get them out of dodge.
Aaron Wilson AOS has a good point. Getting them within 3 inches, then putting the Palisades in front is gross level play.
It's sheer tactical genius.
It is. This is how the Change Host plays. It's all about movement. It is a very movement-based game with Change Host.
You have to be constantly thinking as well, because it's like you can lose this unit, and this unit potentially in a turn. And what you have to think is how do I get my characters somewhere else to be able to deposit them? And I think Paul's done a really good job of, as you can see here, he's screened off quite a lot of the board, so there's probably very little space. So anything that Chris summons is going to be in his half of the board on this side
for now
to put down. So he's created a lot of zonal control, which is good. But it's just, I don't know if I would have committed into the midfield this early. What do you think?
I think Paul's aware of how much movement the Change Host has. So the Lord of Change can move about 30 inches away from his initial point, and then he can run 10 plus 6 d6 inches. So there's that 40 to 50 inch move ish. So I think he's aware of that, and he was like, right, if I get the Storm Fiends into the middle of the board, Soul Screen Bridge or not, he'll have less places to go.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm thinking why he committed him to the front. But I think he could have used the Soul Screen Bridge in the back lines to get out to where he needed to be.
You think he could have used it I think he should have used Soul Screen Bridge here and then moved it in here and waited. Again, we're playing Star Strike, so there's no need to commit so early.
Yeah, and it's not like Paul doesn't have to do damage to the army. He has to kill the characters. So he has to wait for an opening.
Which is all he has to do, right?
He has to wait for an opening.
Yeah. And as you can see the split on the screen there, you can see.
So we're gonna have one of the objectives here, and the other one here on turn 3, I believe.
Yes. And then on turn for battle round 2, it's going to be somewhere along there, and it's going to be you roll 2d6, 2 on that side, 12 on that side, and it lands somewhere along that line.
Yeah.
And then I think Paul has opted to just aim for that centre.
Yeah, he's gone for this sort of this half of the board really. And you kind of can't do that now in the current Star Strike, because it's no longer a 33% chance of being in each kind of quartile, or each what is it, third of the board?
Yeah.
I can't word. So the fact that now you've now got a split of 2 to 12 on the dice, you can go say, right, I'm gonna cover this 70% of the board, and there's a good chance that my objective's gonna drop down here, and even if it doesn't, that edge unit can maybe run out and get it.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a really tough game now for Paul. He's lost his Plague Monks effectively, or by the end of this battle round he will have through Battle Shock. And then the Storm Fiend seems to have been neutered at the cost of a single spell.
Yeah. But if he's able to, he's not getting Soul Scream, which is the key point. It looks like he was measuring the 42 inches there. It might have been. It looks like he was measuring the 42-inch dispel range, but he's not getting Soul Screen Bridge off. So those Storm Fiends aren't going anywhere without falling back, which means they're not shooting on turn 2. It's no threat to Chris. So he's actually in a very strong position now, where even if he gets the turn, I'd probably give it away.
Well, so we know that that's what he plans to do all the time.
Yeah, he always plans to give it away, so he doesn't get it doubled.
Yeah, take the turn. Yeah, give the turn as often as possible, and only take it when you really need it, which is like the soundest tactic.
Yeah,
and really does put paid to the idea that it's all about playing for the double turn.
Yeah, and then you can wait until turn 4, then take a double where it really matters. Where you've got 80 horrors still on the board, your Lord of Change running around, they've got nothing, and then you just go, right, there's 10 mortal wounds to that last bit, right, see you later. So.
However, our man on the field, Paul, it doesn't look stressed in any way, shape or form. Look at him. He's just smiling, happy.
That's only because he has no idea what's going on.
I'm sure he is super aware. We're going to get an update from our table boss about what spells are currently being cast as they're being cast, because there is a bunch of stuff happening that we as we go through. But Chris Caves, he looks 10 blue horrors going down.
He's really fortifying that his lines now. So he's now got 3 lines of horrors to get through, and
Chris looking tense there.
Yeah, Chris knows that he's not getting through.
Chris really nervous as well, because he's actually had a bet on with his dad. That if he doesn't actually win this tournament, then he has to fully paint, including edge highlight, his entire army.
I heard he was getting the belt out if he lost.
That's the thing about me traveling to all these different countries. I'm learning so many cultural mores. Yeah.
We're about 50 years in the past still.
So we're in the shooting phase now. We've moved on from the magic phase. We're in the shooting phase, and we're seeing this unit of blue horrors that has been summoned here, and they are being shot into those plague monks, looking to do even more damage and impact that battle shock test.
Yeah, I think you just need plague monks think our leadership 4 or 5, and they'll maybe be 6 or 7 with the. They'd be about 7 or 8, I think, because they get +2 for every 10. So he's probably trying to get them below to guarantee the battle shot to kill them.
And then the brimstone horrors also shooting in them as well.
This is the thing. He should be. I imagine he's going to be working out exactly how many that need to die, so that he automatically fails battle shock.
Yeah,
like max fails battle shock.
Yeah, so just get them gone.
Yeah, and I think that's it. I think if he's killed 24 plague monks, I think that's the unit gone.
It's the whole unit gone, and the Storm Fiend's neutered, so it could potentially be a game that's just all over.
Yeah. Well, we'll see now. He's still got his characters. He's still got the Storm Fiends. The Plague Monks are still only worth 280 points of his army.
Yeah, but they are an absolute hammer unit.
Oh, they're incredible.
Yeah, incredible. They could given the opportunity, they can just go through unit after unit if they're set up correctly. But I think maybe Paul was looking to take the pressure off on this right-hand side and threaten without having so much done here, thinking that you wouldn't be able to apply all of the pressure to the Storm Fiends and the Plague Monks at the same time, but unsure if that's the case.
Yeah, well, I'd be interested to see what Paul does now to get out of it, because he's in a bit of a pickle now.
He is in a pickle.
He's in a pickle.
He's in a pickle. Is there an Irish colloquialism I can learn for this?
Nothing that I can say on stream. But like he's got 800 points tied up in the middle of the board, and they're doing nothing for turn 2. Oh, we're going to charges now, so he must be charging to try and tie things into combat. Maybe to get it. Do you know what he's probably trying to do as well? Probably trying to get closer to the center of the board, so that when the objectives come down, he'll be able to take the objective if he gets within. Yeah. So
we've seen a unit of there's some Brimstone Horrors here near the jaws. They've rolled a 9, so I think he's looking exactly where to go. Oh, Jazor, thanks for the 200 bits donation for Skaven. Rooting for the Skaven. Also, Viking DX.
Take those bits back.
I did see you
for Skaven.
I saw your question in the chat. I just started getting into AOS, and I'm going to get into DOK. What do I need to be aware of and attention to? Is there anything I should be buying or building? I would say Marathi. I'd also say a Cauldron, and then beyond that, you're probably going to look for Sister Slaughter. Sister Slaughter or Witch Elves, which are the same kit to build. But the first thing, Marathi, Cauldron, and then from then on you can just build ladies and some birds, bird ladies.
Yeah, Canary, Heart Renders, or Life Takers. I think the ranged ones are better. I don't know actually. I don't play Daughters of Cain, but they are incredible. They're just incredible.
Yeah.
The fact that you can hold them up for the entire game.
Yeah, so this unit here has... So there's some interesting things about combat. You can elect to pile in, but you can't elect not to fight. So what Chris has done is he's elected to pile in this unit that are within 3, a 0 amount, which means the Storm Fiends are all going to get to move 3 inches and get them forward. You have to go towards the closest enemy model.
Yeah, they have to end their move closer to the closest one.
And now we're into the battle shot phase, and that's it. So combat. So the Plague Monk's gone.
Bye Plague Monks.
Bye Plague Monks. I'm never ever upset about that.
No.
I think we're all joyous.
Yeah.
Okay. So the battle shot, they've just lifted them straight off the board, which I think means we're into a priority roll. If the guys are going to use their brand new dice for the priority roll there.
Right. So
they got. So priority roll is in the pot. In our pattern pendented blue and red pot, Chris is at the top, and I think they're just going to decide some things before they roll the priority. Who are you rooting for to get the priority? There we go. He's cracked it.
I'd say, I'm not sure. I think it doesn't matter. I think no matter what Paul's.
First we're rolling the Star Strike.
They are playing the game better than we know the rules.
Yeah, they are playing the game better. Yeah.
I think it doesn't matter who wins. I think no matter what, Paul has to take it. Does he have to take? No, maybe not. Maybe. Oh, it's tough. I don't know.
Here we go. It's red. They've rolled an 11. They've rolled 11. That's for the Star Strike. That's what they're rolling for.
Oh, okay.
Brilliant work there. Thank you very much.
I don't know. If you were Paul, would you take the turn?
Nathan's doing great. Well, they haven't rolled the priority yet. That was that was the cumulative total. If I was Paul and I got the priority, then I would. And what I would do is I would just Soul Scream all the way out and start turn 1 again.
Yeah. But if I was Paul, I know I'm not getting Soul Scream off.
So the star has gone down. Look at that. The pattern pendented. Oh, shiny like a star. David Bowie would be proud of that.
He would. He would. But if I was Paul now, I'd be like, I'm not getting Soul Scream off. That is.
Oh, here we go.
That is
priority roll. Ah, good luck. Oh, and it's thank you so much
I
there,
think
Paul.
Chris gets it, so
Chris has won the priority role. Who do you think he's going to be thinking it through? What do you think? Oh, there he is. He's
Ooh,
taking a
interesting,
moment.
interesting.
What do you think? And looking at that table
So-
field, what would you do?
I would give it away because I still have my +3 to dispel up. As soon as I take the turn, I lose that, and I've only got +1.
Yeah.
Now he's left his Lord of Change in the commanding terrain, so he'll have +2. But he doesn't need to take the turn. He's already neutered all the damage in the army, so all he has to do is sit there. He might take a little bit of a beating off. Well, there's nothing really that can hurt him.
I think he's fine.
No, do you know what it is? The only issue is if he dispels Palisades, all he can kill is pink horrors. So yeah, I'd give it away.
It's a very tense face there.
Yeah.
Paying attention to the board. I think. Oh, it's going to take a minute. It's a serious thing because there are so many endless spells to also move on the board. He has to work out where they're going. This is going to move. Ravanax, Smashing Jaws.
What do we have else?
There's so many things that is going to be happening. And then, as you know, Paul's not going to make it easy for him in any way. And he's going to make it tense. There's Paul also thinking it through. They're both looking real cautious about this.
I think he should give it away. I
think he should give it away?
I think he will. The best thing that can happen in this situation is Paul dispels Palisades and killed some pink horrors, and that's not enough.
No.
I don't see any threat to the Lord of Change. The Furnace isn't going to move far enough to really do anything. So, and he's got magic. He's got magical supremacy, Rob.
He's got it. He has got it.
So
he should be. I don't know. He's got the choice anyway. He has got the choice, and it's.
He's giving it to Paul, I think.
If you just.
Yeah, he's giving it to Paul.
That's the right decision, right?
Yeah, I just saw that youthful hand throw the turn at Paul.
He's just, you have it. You have it. The thing is, though, is I think Chris is a quite cautious player. Like he makes sure he doesn't make mistakes, which I think not making mistakes will get you halfway to a victory most of the time anyway.
Yeah.
But if I was Paul, I'd be looking for the
Hail Mary
looking for the
pass.
thing that Chris doesn't want me to. There's a risk that Chris sees.
Is that the dispel roll for the Palisades that he failed?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's quite big.
He's unbound Palisades.
I think he's tried, but he's rolled a 4. We'll wait for Nathan to confirm.
I think it's going to be interesting. We're going to see. Even though he's given it to Chris, we're now seeing all the endless spells move.
Oh, it's that first, so he hasn't tried to dispel Palisades yet.
No, so because the only predatory endless spells I think that we have on the board, if I'm right, and we get some info from our table boss, is Ravanax, Gnashing Jaws. No. Okay, so we actually saw no endless spells dispelled.
Because Chris got to decide not to move his endless spell.
Oh, yeah.
Because he had the choice. And then Paul skipped the start of the hero phase, not dispelling any end. Oh, okay, so he's dispelled the Palisades. Okay, so never mind whatever I just said there.
So what's just happened is Palisades have been dispelled, sorry. And then we've also seen peeling. The bell has done its peeling doom for +2 move. +2 move. Do you think that's going to help?
Let's see. He can get some clan rats up in Chris's face. See, the problem is those Storm Fiends are stuck in combat. He can kill the pinks in his shooting phase, but then all he can do is charge, and there's nothing really relevant he can charge.
He's just going to get swamped. But he has also got the opportunity to score. The objective is here.
Yeah.
So he has the opportunity to score right now, and I think that's quite important. Right, so they have just realised that they didn't do the actual movement of the jaws in the turn, and they're moving now. Yeah, okay. The TO, who sat next to me, Mick, not sure about that, but that's okay.
I may have to go kick someone in the nuts after this. You know?
Always important to remember.
And you know what? It's the other part of it is what the opponents agree on at the end of the day. Like if opponents are happy enough to play, like they both know that should have been moved before, and if they say, "Listen, I forgot to move that," he's like, "Yeah, okay." Well, then do you know what? Who are we to argue? They're happy.
Yeah, I would. So there's still the opportunity to be putting down here the Soul Screen Bridge, and I would move out. Just start again.
Yeah. But that's the thing. He's not going to be able to. Because Chris will just dispel it.
Yes, Chris
he's got
will
+3 to
it.
dispel, and even that, he's got 5s and 6s in his Destiny Dice pool. So he doesn't have that option. All that's going to happen is those Storm Fiends are going to kill those pinks, and that's it.
They are. They really are.
So, now, in fairness...
But they're going to kill them real well.
Yeah, they're going to kill them good. But in fairness to Chris now, or to Paul, the objective's in a good position for him. Because all of Chris's characters are on the other side of the Storm Fiends. And Chris doesn't want to cross paths with the Storm Fiends at all if he can help it.
Yes. Yeah, no, he I just get them out of dodge. And if I can't bridge them, I'm just going to run them.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm going to screen them, and I'm going to start again. And I know that doesn't sound very smart, but I think having these here to be neutered straight off was a bad decision anyway. Yeah. So, and what's nice is he's not lost any, so he can learn from this mistake. He also can be up on points this turn, which he's lost 40 monks. Okay, so he's lost a trade, but he's not out of the game by any stretch of the imagination. So the only spell that went off was Mystic Shield.
And that's interesting because in this game it doesn't really do much. All it does is give Chris Caves a fate point.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. Well, actually, not too bad against the output from everything other than spells. From the shooting is quite weak. So I wouldn't mind real ones on the Storm
But
Fiends.
I think all of that shooting is gonna go against rats. Clear the numbers out, and Chris should be able to swamp them.
Yeah.
But you will see. There's another play that Paul can make is that he can send the Storm Fiends laterally over towards the objective, sit those 9 Storm Fiends in the objective, and then he has to deal with them.
Yeah.
So that would be a smart play. But if the other objective comes down around this mark, then and the other one comes around here, anywhere there, then Chris has kind of got a.
I actually think Paul's
position.
in a really strong place.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, so if Paul moves these guys this way, he's now got that objective, and it forces Chris to deal with those 9 Storm Fiends, unless he's lucky, and in turn 3, you get the objectives down on these 2 points on the board.
Yeah, we currently are seeing. There we go. We're into the movement phase for Skaven after the hero phase being a single cast. And it looks like the bell, the screaming bell, is moving forward and looking to go and hit. Now, if there's any advice I can give everyone, the thing that I like most is when you charge my blue and pink horrors. I just love it. I giggle. Like, as long as you're not running Slanesh and can double activate through me into my character, I'm like, oh, you're going to give me some blue points.
Yeah.
I'm very excited about this. And I'm always happy to see that happen on the tabletop. So this play here might be a solid charge, potentially.
Let's put the pressure on.
It could be to put the pressure on, but
it looks like he's really trying to reduce where Chris can change host to, because he's not going to change host to right beside a Plague Furnace.
Yes.
He's not gonna put his Road of Change there. So if he starts killing those units off, then it reduces where Chris can go. I wonder if he kills these guys over, like if he goes killing all the rats, if the rats go around killing all the brimstones, then there are places where the Road of Change could have gone, which he can't go anymore. So.
Yeah, a question in the chat from Donald there. What else is in Paul's list? He's got an Arch Warlock. He's got a Warlock Bombardier. He has a Grey Serum Screaming Bell that you can see moving into the centre right there. He did have 40 Plague Monks, and he still has 60 Cunning Rats. So total, he's only actually lost 280 points so far in the Plague Monks. That's it. for that trade, which I think is not too bad, realistically.
It's terrible.
Huh?
He lost 60-point brimstones to 280 points of blade bearers.
Oh no, yeah, like it's a bad trade, but it's not it's not terrible.
The game's not lost.
Huh?
The game's not lost for sure. I would agree with that, but he definitely didn't need to do that. I think that was a mistake. I don't think he realized the Gaunt Summoner was going to delete that many, or maybe he thought it was a 5+. I'm not sure, but that definitely seemed like a mistake or an oversight of some sort.
And I think we've got the Warlock engineer there. I'll go grab him. Moving forward with his Skaven brethren right into the field of fire. I think potentially in some serious trouble, that young man. Rats generally scurry away at the best of their ability anyway, but he's for it. Do you not think?
He looks like he's going for it.
Yeah.
Well, in fairness, other than magic...
Would you say he's cheesed it?
Oh.
If I was a rat, I would get straight out there. I'd be straight on the hot foot paw or something like that.
Something like that.
Fleeting
away. Or,
yeah.
So we're going to start talking gibberish soon after the lack of sleep.
So shooting phase. So there's also some options here, right? Why don't the Storm Fiends just shoot? Okay, so the Warlock on the bell here has just done 3 mortal wounds into these pink horrors. But if he shoots here, and he clears the brimstone horrors,
he has to shoot the pinks.
He shoots the pinks, but then charges the brimstones.
Yep.
Kills them, and then he can use that charge to get himself out of where he needs to be.
That's true as well. Yeah.
Yeah, and then that gives him the same level of movement and gets him away from. So there's an 18-inch threat here from loads of damage. And then, because listen, playing as a movement 4 army, as I have done many a while, you realise that the charge phase is actually just an extra move phase, which is always really fun.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting how this is developed now. So
hey, Brian Spurlow. Chat. Let us know who you're rooting for. Are you rooting for Skaven, or as I obviously am, or are you rooting for Disciples of Tzeentch? A cool thing that you have here, Mick, actually. So we found out some hot goss.
Well, that's something bad has happened to Paul.
So the Warlock Bombardier has tried to fire his Doom Rocket and has rolled a 1. He's rolled a 1.
Oh, look at that face of despair.
Yeah, look at him. He's having quite a good time with it. It's a shame we missed that, but and then he's done 2d6 mortal wounds to himself, and he's died.
9 mortal wounds to himself.
9. Really sad, that situation.
Good man, Zangor Jack.
Always Tzeentch, yeah. Always Skaven doesn't look hopeful, though. Jimmy 1080, good morning. How are you? Has the BIP tab been updated? No, sorry. We had loads of technical issues at the start. But you will get an updated BIP. But while you're not getting an updated BIP, how cool is this? Some of the stuff that you can see on the screen. If you guys would like, you can see, something that I think is quite cool, is you can see what the actual scenery types are. So you can see that there's mystical, inspiring around the center, around those Storm Fiends, which is good. Commanding, which is why that Lord of Change is up there. Yep. So the board makes more sense to us.
He did this especially for us.
Yeah, that's cool, right?
Yeah, in your face hammer.
So there you go. So that's funky. I'm chuffed for that. Yeah.
On the topic of Facehammer, actually, thanks Byron for giving us some nice prizes to give out for our painting competition.
Also, if you notice on the left-hand side, we have a new section on the overlay, which is totally worth talking about, which is our current and ongoing buffs. So the only thing that's actually up at the minute is Warpstone Sparks for Paul. So he's got 4 left. So 4 Warpstone Sparks, which he's going to be able to use by his Bombardiers. And there hasn't been any other ongoing buffs. The only other ongoing buff is Mystic Shield, which is currently on the Storm Fiends. So just just to let you guys know, just hopefully you guys gaining more information as you look at the screen. We're also playing Star Strike, is the scenario that we're currently playing, and here is where the star landed on the left-hand side of the board, which is kind of glowing a weird set of colours.
It's worth noting, actually, that the Lord of Change does have the Beacon of Sorcery up 3 times, which is the +1 to cast and the spell.
Yes.
That's right, I looked up the name.
So we're in the charge phase now. Shooting is cleared. These Storm Fiends, it's exactly what's going to happen here.
Yeah.
Storm Fiends in, right? Go this way. Don't go that way. Yeah? Make the right decision, Paul. No. Don't go that way.
Oh no.
No, that's where the Lord of Change is. This is 18 inches. Make sure you stay out of that.
This is the bait.
Don't do it. Don't go forward. Go backwards. No. Please, no. Hello, Adi Mac, you gorgeous man. How you doing? Hope you've all been enjoying the rugby. I disagree with Mick. I disagree with this move intensely.
Yes, I think this was an opportunity for him to get back into the game, and he's now pushed himself further out of it.
But he's got himself in a different type of game.
Well, the thing is,
his game.
Now, yeah. Well, I think this is just a way to get both of his arms into the shot.
Yeah, I mean, he's really helped us out there. Let's just do that for him. Really appreciate you, Paul. That's really nice of you. So he's just letting us see into...
I like the way he's bringing his Soul Screen Bridge. It's a very good way to play, to bring those markers with you, to say, okay, well, if I want to use the Soul Screen Bridge, I'm going to keep them within range. So it's that sort of I'm failing at words today, but it's that
minutia.
Yeah, let's call it minutia. It wasn't the word I was looking for, but I think it works. But he's being very careful to make sure that he has the options open, that he doesn't mess up and go, oh, I want to use Soul Screen. Damn it, I haven't moved properly. You know, so if someone can type the word I'm looking for.
Another really interesting thing about Paul, which most people don't know, is between rounds, and I mean between battle rounds, he actually eats 3 whole chicken breasts. So by the end of every game, he's eaten 15 chicken breasts. Yeah, every single round. It's phenomenal, and it's the only way he can keep that level of sheer muscle mass up.
Girth.
Yeah, just pure protein power. I, as a vegetarian, don't forethought.
Forethought's a great word, actually. Yeah, that'll work. But I prefer preparedness or preparediness. Malacca.
Hey, wait, are any of my... I don't know if any of my Greek friends are listening, but I love you, Malacca.
Yeah.
I love you loads. You can see at the tabletop, we're in the combat phase, and the monk, not the monks.
Oh, the plunk. Yeah. He's got monks in
the clan rats.
Yeah. Are they clan rats or plague monks?
They're clan rats. The clan rats have attacked here. Is where we've seen the current activation, and they have they've smote two brimstone horrors.
Extinguished two brimstone horrors.
2 brimstone horrors. They're fire. They're guys on fire. I'm just experiencing a bit of the local wildlife.
He's our actual resident Spaniard.
We have a
So
Chris Caves Jr. seems very happy right now.
Yeah.
He was really over the moon.
What I love about this is he is not hiding any of it. He's just going, do you know what? I don't care that I'm playing Change Host. I am delighted that I'm winning. Hooray. Hooray for me.
I think that's because a blue horror in close combat just did a wound to a Storm Fiend.
Amazing.
I think he's over the moon about that.
That is literally Chris Caves versus Paul. A blue horror versus a Storm Fiend.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Okay, yeah. Blue Horror's doing that wound, and he is over the moon about that.
Yeah.
You need to take a fire axe to brimstones. That would be Gotrek. There's actually currently in the field, there's actually a Gotrek off.
Yeah.
From what I heard, is that correct?
Yeah. Let's see if I can find
So
him.
let's quickly have a look. Look how great this event is. The HeroPhase Irish GT. It's a great event. Loads of players having a great time, and there's our table boss. What a gorgeous man.
He is very handsome.
Yeah, very, very handsome. Wait, did you guys see that?
But you know what? This guy's from Wexford and doesn't even like strawberries.
Yeah.
Wexford's known for their strawberries.
Wexford?
Wexford.
Is that in Ireland?
Yeah, it's like a bit of, it's down south a bit.
Okay. Well,
he's from, yeah.
I imagine someone's got to be from Wexford.
Someone is, but he doesn't like strawberries. That's a big deal.
That's fine.
That's going to be completely lost on everybody. I'm trying to see if I can find our Gotrek off from the distance here.
He's quite far off. So we've just double confirmed the table boss that he is definitely from Wexford.
Right, can we see?
But listen, while this combat phase is concluding, I want to show you a matchup that's glorious. Over there, look at that. That's Chris Cave Senior putting on his glasses because he's old, and Colin Cochran there, if you can see him. Both of whom sons are also playing in the event. Chris Cave Senior's son currently playing on the TV right now. Look at those two. If they aren't headmasters of Hogwarts, I don't know who is. Realistically,
I'd say the other gentleman. I'd say that's that's probably the most mannerly game.
So the Blue Horrors in return suffered 8 damage, which gets him some more Brimstone Horror points, which is actually a good thing.
Here's the thing, though. If I think I saw a 2 in Chris's Destiny Dice pool, so if he wants to, he can save those the last of the blues, and all of a sudden Paul's gone over there and he's still stuck in combat.
Yeah.
Now he'll just flee. It's Chris's turn next. Actually, sorry, my mistake. So he'll have to flee from combat, but doesn't seem. It really does seem like that was a mistake charging in the center there.
Yeah, because you just put them, and also, I mean, we'll try and use our grid. That's why we literally made it.
Oh, this grid is great. Actually,
let's do the grid, right? So, try and give us some indication. So probably about 3-4 inches there, which puts that. That's 6. So do we reckon that's 18 inches between? I reckon that works.
I'd say so, because that's probably probably.
Not forgetting that obviously the Lord of Change can still change host.
He can change host and then move as well.
Yeah.
So for example,
but I'm talking about output into the Storm Fiends.
Output into the Storm Fiends. So he has. Oh yeah. Well, he can change host forward
because he's obviously got his own personal spell. So that could probably be about 7 mortal wounds in here. Then he's got Tzeentch's Firestorm, which could be potentially another. On average, it's another 2 D3 mortal wounds. That could be 11.
But the thing is, though, I don't think I would bother trying to go for the Storm Fiends. I think what I would do is, if I was Chris now, I would be trying to change host over here to this unit.
Yeah.
Magic here or here at these clan rats, and then run over here and then summon here. I don't know if they're monks. Are they monks there, or are they Brimstone Horrors? But basically, I would be trying to get over here and create a board presence over that side of the board.
Okay.
Because that's where the objective is.
Well, that's good as well, because Paul could potentially be using this unit. I mean, where the objective landed, which is here, as you can see on the left-hand side, he could be using this unit to just bully this whole side of the board, and actually, as we've stated, getting that many wounds off the board early is Chris. So Chris Jr. now has only got a turn to potentially do it. Paul has finished his combat phase. Chris has finished his combat phase. So we are going to be going into Chris's hero phase now. He killed a lot of units. Do you think that might be his tactic to try and kill?
I think he killed 1 pinks.
Huh?
Killed 1 unit of pinks. That's the important one.
And a unit of blues.
No, I mean, as in out of the important units, the pinks are the important ones. So I don't know if it's enough, but I won't count him out yet. Like, in fairness, he still has 8 Storm Fiends, 2, 4, 6, 8. So it's really down to what Chris does now, what he leaves open. Because again, he can if he loses priority and Paul's in a good position, so he's going to be protecting himself against that. So it's actually hard to say what he's going to do next, because me and Chris will have a different mindset. I wouldn't have thought of what he did first turn with the pinks into combat and putting the palisades down. I think I'd be trying to kill Paul's wizards so that I can put palisade down without worrying about it being dispelled.
Okay. So we've heard some hot goss from the tabletop. We've heard that we're into Chris's HeroPhase. Chris is taking a moment while Paul goes off to decide like what his plans are.
Yeah.
I actually think he'll be looking at his WhatsApp chats and going, Paul, what's the plan here, mate?
He might be going back over this stream
at 1.5 speed on YouTube, just like quick. How can I improve quickly? Yeah. Does that match mean that AD Mac isn't really the oldest man in Warhammer? AD Mac is not the oldest man in Warhammer. AD Mac's actually the oldest man on the Isle of England. He once, you've heard of Merlin.
Yeah.
Where do you think he learnt his skills? From AD Mac. AD Mac taught him how to be a wizard. But he's also fantastic. And I think currently watching, which is nice. Are you guys enjoying the show? Mick, how are you finding your first game of coverage ever? You're doing great, by the way.
It's fun. I like talking crap. I can say that, can't I? Yes, I can.
You're like, that's a swear word.
I don't know. The line is so blurry these days. No, I'm enjoying it. It's fun. I thought I'd miss playing in the tournament, like being a TO over here. In
I
Dublin.
do.
But it's actually been great just to watch and see this and experience commentating on something. Like if you told me 10 years ago we were going to have commentators on Warhammer, I'd be like, yeah, all right. You know, but it's great. It's brilliant. And I was watching this myself, watching the Facehammer coverage, and I was like, this is amazing. I was watching it on my TV on my couch. It's just not something I ever thought I'd be able to do. So it's great to be able to do it for other people.
It's fantastic. And if you guys are watching at home and watching on your couch on your big telly, please can you stick it on our Twitter with hashtag #RateMySetup on so at the Honest Wargamer on Twitter. I love it. It's honestly it's one of my favorite things. I screenshot the photos and send them to my friends because it's just the coolest. Yeah. It's like I'm sat at home, pants on, pot noodle in hand, but probably don't have that. Have some water and some low GI foods.
Yeah.
I've learned that
energy levels up.
Yeah.
And I'd be interested to see if anyone's got a little viewing party.
Oh yes,
few lads all there,
getting the beers on.
Well,
don't forget we've got the
hopefully not this early in the morning.
Bloodshed in the Shires event, which is coming up in 3 weeks. But so that's the last weekend of October. But what's really exciting about that, and no one else in the world knows, so I'm just going to let you guys know now, is when we finish our 3 games of coverage on the Saturday, we go live to Canada, where we've got 3 games of coverage happening from Dan, our Honest Wargamer, based in Canada.
Awesome.
And then we come back for our 2 games on the Sunday, his 2 games on the Sunday. That's 10 games of live Warhammer over a weekend. That's pretty cool. International coverage.
I couldn't play that much Warhammer, but I could definitely watch close to that much Warhammer.
I wonder what that says about people.
Yeah. It's a tough game to slog through for a weekend. I have to say, fair play to the guys at the GT last weekend, because 6 games is tough.
It's tough.
Day 2, 3 games is a tough slog.
Yeah, it's real. It's a real challenge, and it does actually get to the stage where you end up looking like Paul is right now, just there. He's just having a sit. He's having a think.
He's diminished.